After having seen both the showroom and the production plant, it was then time to meet the lady of the house, CEO and founder of IO Furniture Limited, Mrs. Muni Shonibare. She begins with how she came to delve into furniture manufacturing.
IO Furniture was established in 1987, primarily as an interior design company first, as I trained as an interior designer. About 10 years after I started that, we decided to include or start manufacturing because we found it extremely difficult to identify furniture manufacturing companies in Nigeria that would give us the quality we required, meet our deadlines, and interpret our design requirements for our clients. So it was mainly a backward integration sort of decision in order to be able to take complete and total control of our projects for our clients.
So, how did she hear about the Bank of Industry?
We actually heard, I've always known of the existence of the Bank of Industry because in an industry such as ours, financing and funding is key, is vital, of course. So you try and explore all of your possibilities and options. It wasn't an industry we approached right away for the very simple reason that the very first time we attempted to approach them, their requirements were not very clear-cut and were quite stringent. So when we decided to embark on an expansion program, we actually approached the commercial banks first. And at the time, the going rate was at about 26%. But I'm a bit of a risk taker, I should say. I did want to embark on the expansion program quite passionately for the very simple reason that furniture was banned in the country in the early 90s. I didn't want to get into illegal activities. So I actually approached some suppliers, regular suppliers of ours in Italy that we had established a relationship with about coming to Nigeria and setting up a furniture plant for the very simple reason that that's not my core competence, and I wanted the expertise. We wanted to meet global standards and requirements, and luckily they had agreed because we had been in a relationship with them for quite a while. We came up with all the figures, and we then approached commercial banks. The going rate was 26%. We decided to go for it because it was either we go for it or die, cease to exist as a company. 2-3 years into that, we were starting to crumble because manufacturing is totally different from trading. We are primarily a trade-based economy. We buy goods, we import goods, and we sell. So we were granted the loan. We were not doing too well. Luckily, just when we thought we would not be able to cope anymore, the then CBN governor came up with the intervention scheme just to promote industry. I think it's one of the best things that could have been done for this country because otherwise a lot of industries would have just closed down. Now came the intervention funds that allowed us to borrow at 7% through the Bank of Industry. We applied, we qualified, and that turned things around because suddenly it was possible to spread our interests and grow.
What was her own experience in securing funding from the Bank of Industry?
The Bank of Industry have been extremely supportive, and they actually do try to guide you as to what sort of documentation is required and the processes you need to adhere to qualify for the loan. They came to visit us, visit the premises first, assess our requirements, and then they begin to make sure that they go through the process. Now, maybe I'm being an Oliver Twist and wanting to ask for more. One has to probably try and appreciate the constraints that the Bank of Industry must have as well. My major, I don't want to call it a complaint, maybe a concern is they may have to give a more flexible or more total approach to funding. Why do I say so? The Bank of Industry is geared to giving you funds for equipment and machinery. There isn't maybe enough of a scope for premises and working capital. And my argument is this: you give a business money or funds for equipment, where are they going to operate out of? Getting the suitable space or premises always turns out to be a lot more expensive than actually the equipment. Renting or leasing or building is really, really, really expensive in Nigeria. So production costs become very, very high. So I think they need to look at that. I appreciate that our environment, the emphasis in our environment is more about sharing. Our culture is that of sharing wealth as opposed to generating or producing wealth. There's a difference. Because if we want to become an economy that produce or generate wealth, the way to go is industry. You've got to support the industrial, your industry. You've got to grow your own industry. How else are you going to develop or grow a sustainable economy, i.e. job creation, engaging the youth? So I think we need to begin to look at it and give it that global picture. Where do we want to end up long term? Who do we want to be? We are an emerging market. Why don't we look at what Asia has done, the formula that they've used? There's no need to try and reinvent the wheel. Let's see how these markets have worked, because our culture is very, very similar to theirs. We've got a young, evolving, I think come the year 2020, Africa is going to have the youngest population in the world. That tells you a lot. How do we intend to engage our youth? How are you going to keep them employed? What sense of direction and purpose are you going to give them? We've got to begin to address that. Nigeria as a country, 40% or 50% of our population fall within the age range of 15 and 35. They are not, most of them are not engaged. I drive out of here every day because our factory is just around the corner from Oshodi, and you see young, healthy, vibrant people with nothing to do. Of course you're going to resort to a life of crime. It's a given. So we've got to begin to address all of that. You've got very accessible, very, very approachable staff. They're very willing to listen. They're very good listeners. They sit down, they listen to you and get a complete understanding of what it is your requirements are. They guide you on how to go about the documentation. As I said earlier, and they've actually become our friends. If I get stuck, I pick up the phone or I make an appointment and I go into the Bank of Industry and speak to one of the directors and explain what it is the issues are. And oftentimes they do give you a solution.
What impact did all those have on their output?
Oh, it grew our capacity by 30-40% because we started to get into a conveyor belt process. It just made everything and our capacity faster, more precise. Quality control became a lot easier. So phasing the work became a lot easier and faster.
That's our package today on BOI Weekly. More and more businesses continue to receive help from the Bank of Industry. Why shouldn't you be one of them? To learn more about the Bank of Industry and their bouquet of loans, boinigeria.com is the place to go. And remember, it's real easy applying for a loan. Simply download the SME Loan app from the Google Play Store, and you can also tweet at me at KAY Alayode for more information on how you can maximize the loan app. I'm Kaide Alayode.
Bye-bye.